The purpose of this three-day session is to gather executive youth leaders from all across the country to build momentum in the creation of one united youth voice and policy through what will be called a youth council, recognized by government and other stakeholders in development. It's not the first time an attempt has been made, but it is perhaps the most concerted effort to date.
We asked Dr. Henry Charles, who was a former director of the Commonwealth Youth Program, to come and help direct us in forming a national youth council that was brought about, and pretty much the idea came from the national youth policy.
I think they've been a bit of frustration about the fact that they have had processes before, because the objective is really for them to come together and form a national body that is going to give strength to the individual organizations that they belong to, that is going to represent young people in a collective way, that is going to work with other stakeholders, including government, to advance not just the situation of young people, but to play their role in the development of the country. And so they've had some frustration about the inability in the past to have finalized it.
It's been an intensive session because these youth leaders are serious about getting this done. They come from different groups facing different challenges, but that's the only difference they're willing to entertain. These leaders intend to leave here all on the same page.
The young people were selected from the different district departments. So there were a bunch of people that was selected, some youth leaders, and then they came and they asked them the question if they thought that the National Youth Council was necessary. So they said yes. So with Mr. Charles present here, he kind of like guided us into creating and developing our National Youth Council.
We've held different discussions around different issues that really affects young persons, like HIV is a huge issue that affects young persons, domestic violence, issues of marginalization as a young person. So we just try to incorporate all of these conversations and try to see how we could have a better outcome, talking to our decision makers and our leaders to realize that these are issues that are really affecting our young persons.
I have been on different forums, on different programs, and this one is unique. This is to a higher level that we can bring up points, our challenges, our strengths. But moving from here, it can give us the opportunity to bring the voice of our youths on a higher level. How can we help them in their different daily obstacles?
I'm going to tell the youths we have a voice, because being here in the 3 days, I've learned that I should not be afraid to talk what I believe, because I have a voice as a young lady, as a youth in Belize, and I should not be afraid to tell them what I believe. So I think the workshop, I'm going to take back. I'm going to tell them we have to talk up to what we believe in.
This is a group of leaders who we are hoping will go out and broaden the participation of the young people as it relates to them influencing what goes on in youth work, but also the wider Belize. So I'm very happy, I know that the potential for that is very real, and that we can have some great young leaders, not only in youth work, but in other areas of development for our country.
Minister of Youth Faber says the government is serious about paving the way for the youth to speak with one voice and committed to listening when they do.
The fact that they're here because of the openness and the willingness of the government to hear the young people. The youth policy is in effect. The last youth policy we had before that one was probably back in 94, 95. So that testimony that the government is willing to listen to our young people is in that policy, and the fact that we have moved now to get expertise to organize properly the young people's involvement in youth work, but in the development of Belize on a whole.
So what happens next for this group of youth leaders, united after 3 days of intensive discussion?
They recognize the challenges, they recognize that they have to roll up their sleeves and do the work, but they also recognize that they have a responsibility and that they can do it. That is why they have decided yesterday afternoon, they have put together a working team. They have an action plan. They know when they want to establish the council and what it is they're going to be doing